if you can, you start recording, Paul, and then we'll be all set. I see you're recording. So I want to welcome everyone. This is the first time we're trying out this new format, as Paul said. We're going to try to make it quick. Icebreakers for your live session. So here we go. And I'm going to talk fast because that's the quick part of it. So hopefully you will be able to follow along, and I will post the slide deck into the chat, so you'll be able to have this available for you. I wanted to just talk for a second, really quick, about why we do these icebreakers. I think that's important. A lot of you participated quite a bit and led workshops even on effective practices for online learning, and we know that these are kind of the three elements that underlay all of what we do, and they kind of fall into three areas: the teaching presence, which is us organizing, planning, creating experiences, which is needed, of course, in the online environment as well as face-to-face. The cognitive presence, so that there's a sense of interest, of wonder, of puzzlement, curiosity, connecting ideas. We want our students to experience that. But then there's also this social presence, this sense of being in a group, of connecting with others. And that's the piece that we all find a bit more challenging when we're online. And that's where these icebreakers kind of sit. So I've tried to make them completely generic. You can fill in any of your content areas. Some of them are going to be more appropriate for you than others. But they all have this idea of creating and building more of a sense of group cohesion, and that willingness to take risks and have joy in the learning. So I promised 20 tasks. I told Xiao, I always do that when I write blurbs. I overpromise and then I gotta actually deliver. But I've got 20 tasks for you. We're not gonna do all 20. I've underlined the ones I'm gonna try to do with us now so you can kind of experience them. The ones that are not underlined, I think, are more self-explanatory, or maybe you've done them before. There's probably nothing new here whatsoever for some of you, but maybe it's just a twist. And then maybe for some of you, there are a little group of new ideas. I've batched them kind of by tool or genre, things that just involve your video and audio feature, whether it's Blackboard Collaborate or Google Meet or Zoom, doesn't matter. I'm just gonna be in Zoom today, but obviously whatever platform you use. Ones that involve just being able to pick up, you know, a piece of paper or not have to have anything more than that. Interactive activities that require some kind of screen sharing. Ones that involve breakout rooms, ones that involve polling, and a few that take you to a third party kind of, some kind of tool that's available online that you can integrate. Okay, so we're gonna get started here, and we're gonna do a little bit of a stretch. It's called /Simon Says. So if I'd like Simon Says to raise both hands, and those of you who don't have your cameras on, you get to watch us. Oh, good, you can turn them on if you would like. All right, so lower your hands. Oh, I didn't say Simon Says. Nice, good. Okay, so, okay, Simon Says cross your right arm over your body. Simon Says cross your left arm over your body. Okay, now see if you can lift your arms above your head. Okay, I didn't say Simon Says, but that's okay. We're still stretching, which is good. All right. Okay, so we're gonna wiggle around in our seat, roll your shoulders back a little bit. And you'll see there's a couple people who won't do it. They're just kind of stare at you. And that's totally cool. Good. And or you could call on them and you can say, hey, Xiao, I want to see you rolling your shoulders. Let me see you. All right. Okay, good. So obviously it depends on the comfort level, but sometimes it's good to call on people and say, hey, I see you, you know. And you can, obviously a lot of you have the ability to do this maybe in another language. You can invite people, your participants, to call out things in their own languages or different kinds of stretching and moves. Because I think it's important just to take a deep breath. Simon Says, take a deep breath. When was the last time you breathed? Okay, good. And just bringing us physically into this virtual space, because we're all these disembodied heads. or maybe you only see my head and this screen. So if you can, wherever you see my picture talking, go on top of it and select gallery or grid view and try to see more faces, and you can drag that box open a bit too, so you can kind of experience being together physically. Okay, so we're going to do a rename activity now. So I want you to find your own thumbnail video. You're going to go to that upper right where there are 3 dots. It says rename, and I want you to rename it to the place that you were born, the city, state, or city, country. And let's see if any of us have the same. Okay, so we're going to go up and do that. Bring my cursor over. Rename. I don't think anyone is going to have mine, but let's see. Very cool. Neat. So we can kind of look around now, right? Yokohama, that's my Yumiko. Sophia, Minneapolis, Brooklyn. You don't need to say more than that, right? Queens is in the house, love it. And then we have Ghent, I mean, come on. And then we have Newark. But they're all wonderful, right? And so we get to quickly find out something about each other. And of course, you can make all kinds of varieties on the rename. It could be related to the content area, could be related to an author, a favorite character from the book you just read, something you're worried about right now, something you're looking forward to right now. It's kind of a form of the chat, but it's so visual with the photos. So that's one of the kinds of icebreakers that just use the tools that you're in here. Love this idea, thank you. Okay, that's great. And we love the chat as well. So make sure your chat box is open and pulled to the side. The chat is so essential, I think, for the social presence. I give extra points for chat cheerleaders, is what I call them, because I have to have alliteration for everything I do, like Tech Tuesday and 20 and chat cheerleading. So if you like the idea, great, put it in there. And I tell my students, I see who is responding and uplifting other people, because that's a lot of that energy that I'm sure you feel you're missing as an instructor when you're not physically, with students. So wonderful. Okay, we're going to go on to another one now. And these are just really easy, breezy, basic warm-ups. Okay, left, right, center. So what we're going to do is, if you can turn your camera on, that's great. And you're going to kind of sit in the middle of the screen right now. Okay. And I'm going to show you a picture of 2 things, and you're going to decide if you like that thing, or that's your thing, or maybe it's the thing on this side, or you're neutral, you're kind of in the middle. That's sort of like the 4 corners activity that you might do in person, where people go to different sides of the room. Okay, so here we go. So which one are you? So you're gonna lean to the side that you see the object on.
Happen to be neither.
And if you're neither, you're staying right in the middle. So Brooklyn says she goes with Coke and Pepsi. Seriously? Seriously? Unmute, I want to hear about that. Who actually likes both? Miss Brooklyn's going to tell us.
No, I'm saying neither because I don't really like soda.
Neither. So she's a neither, not both. Anyone in the middle likes both? That's fascinating to me. That would be a first. Usually we have some opinions about that. Okay, so let's try another one. Mac or PC? Oh, Xiao is leaning way over. Tell us, Xiao, how do you feel about that?
I'm leaning towards Mac. I think I have a mirror screen, so you're seeing the other side. But I'm a Mac person.
One of the things you can do with these pictures is make them your virtual background, so they appear behind you, and then that can help. But then it also is the mirroring. Okay, awesome. And next activity. Now we're going to do this. If you can, you don't have to turn off your camera, but you can. I want you to find something around you that makes you happy. It could be anything that you can reach, or you want to just take a second and go grab it. Okay, so we're going to give you about 10 seconds. Go find something in your zone that makes you happy. And always remember to wear pants when you do these activities so that when you get up to, go find your object, you don't make people unhappy. Let's put it that way. Okay, so I got something. All right. Ooh, really nice. Okay, so let's all hold up our objet and let's see what we got. Interesting. Elaine has something cool. Ooh, Poughkeepsie has something. Oh, and some photos, shoes. I know why that is because this is a runner we're talking about over there. Okay, very cool. I'm going to call in Elaine. Madam Yonkers, show us your object and tell us why it makes you happy.
So I was taking care of a free roaming cat over the summer, and it brought me 3 kittens.
Oh my God.
But I got 3 kittens hanging out of my deck, and I absolutely love it.
Oh my goodness. Are you going to keep them?
I can't.
Oh.
So my sister might take one, and anybody wants kittens, let me know.
Oh, well, you know what? You might get some takers here on this call. That's awesome. I'm just going to ask, I want to hear about all of them, but let's see, Madam Queens, New York. That looks like a quilter's ruler, a sewing ruler. Tell us about that.
So yeah, it is. I like to craft and make stuff. So this is the ruler I use to when I'm doing patterns and tracing stuff.
Oh, hold on a second. Hold on a second. I'm going to run over here.
Oh, you have one too?
We're twins. This is so exciting. Okay, I love sewing. I'm really not very good at it, but
I didn't say I was good at it. I just said I like to do it.
I like to do it too.
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. So, and we want to hear about all the objects, and probably you feel like, oh, I didn't get to show my object, So this might be an activity where we show them and then we go into a breakout room or a partner so that everyone really has a chance, because there is something about that activity. And again, remember we started with that stretching and being physical. Use the social space, use the physical space that people are in. Now they're not just bringing their lives to the classroom in their minds. They're in their worlds. So have them use their world. It could be something, take a photo of something around you right now and post it into the chat. You can react to things of where they are or utilize, their home environment. Okay, so we're going to go to the next one. These I'm not going to model. These are just ones of reference because they're probably more relevant for language teachers. Dictation is great for Zoom, and you can even turn off your camera. So let's say Julie is teaching Italian and it's beginners and she's doing some kind of dictation activity. She can turn off her camera even, so they really have to attend to the listening. So that's kind of a neat way to use the tool. Pictionary. Pictionary is another one where you can just use whatever you have. All you need is a piece of paper. And the fun part of it is using chat. So I see my buddy Gina is there, and I'm sure she has a piece of paper, or if not a whiteboard. So what I can do is I can send Gina a note in chat and tell her a word, right? And then she can show it. I'm not going to do it because I am on this little I'm sorry, Gina. I know it would have been really fun. But you can do conceptual drawings. You can do obviously more of vocab type of items. Okay. This one we're going to try, Caption the Picture. So I've obviously selected a funny, silly picture, but it might be a serious picture. It might be something that is informational. It could be an art image, whatever relates. And I want you to go to the chat box and give us a caption. And you could think about your semester right now at Hunter. That could be the theme, or I could just leave it open. 2020, hashtag 2020. So let's see some captions. Is it over yet? Good. Get me out of here. Oops. Come join me. Love it. What a day. So none of you used any bad language. See, mine was, I'll just type mine so it's not on the recording. Okay. I love it. I need to get a longer bed. So this was from a Facebook post I saw this morning that the worldwide funny animal pictures came out. Sarah probably saw that, and they're real pictures that have been captured, and they are really funny. It's a great resource for finding more, and all of these things that I'm mentioning are linked into this slide deck, so you can find them later. Okay, and humor is important, you know. I think that's another kind of way to break the ice for that social presence, so people relax a little bit. And it could even be, you know, a picture of you when you were in college. Some of you just came out of college, but for me, that would be a pretty funny picture. You know, who is this? Or it can be even personal types of pictures. Okay, we're gonna try this one as well. So I love using art for icebreakers because they are open to any kind of interpretation, and they can fit any topic that you're working with, and they're obviously rich aesthetically. So I have 3 images here, and I want you to connect them in terms of theme of our world right now, teaching online. So how could you possibly link these 3? What do they mean to you in terms of teaching online, and how could they be connected? So I'm going to give you a chance to kind of think about that. If you feel like you can draw a thread between those 3 images and where we are now with online teaching, you can just raise your hand, or you can use the hand raise, and let's hear an idea. Who can connect these 3 images? All right, Madam London.
I was in my lovely happy world. And then there was this nightmare, and now I'm just in a box.
Oh, that's a mic drop, right? Give her some, yes, thank you, Rob, very good. Give her some applause, and that's fabulous. I mean, that's perfect, right? Or it could be the other way. You know, I was doing the things the way I wanted to. I had this crisis, and now I'm living in this whole beautiful world. I'm actually in Costa Rica talking to you live right now. No, I'm not. I wish I was, but okay, wonderful. So you strung them in as a narrative. I could just select one and say which one relates to how I feel today, which one tells me about my life. If I had to arrange these in terms of my life, childhood, you know, adulthood, and where I'm going in my future. There's so many infinite varieties of what you can do with art. So definitely think about how that can be an icebreaker. Choices. This is another type of visual activity. So you can select obviously anything. It could be images of people. You're studying historical events, theories, anything that is in your field or discipline. So if I was going to ask you to tell me, for example, which one of these are you most familiar with, you might tell me. If you know the names of all 3, you could type that into the chat. If you want to decide which one you would prefer to have for lunch right now, instead of the heinous sandwiches, I mean the wonderful sandwiches that we used to have in 1203 East, you can put that. Which would you prefer to have for lunch? Very nice. Number 1, pupusas. Okay. Number 2, so you can use the chat if anyone knows what those 3 items are. Let's see how, if you can do that. I need to see 2 and 3 pop up in chat. Thank you, Miss NYC. That's some dumplings, yep. All right, Regina, with the calzone, perfect. Okay, and so we can then say, well, what do they all have in common? How are they the same? You know, and of course they're all basically empanadas. They're all forms of bread wrapped around something, which every culture has. So you can, obviously I used a fun image here, but it could be anything that gets people to rate or relate to or name. Another way to use pictures and the chat is, okay, who knows these places at Hunter? Number 1 is what? Number 2 is what? Number 3 is what? Number 4 is what? Let's see who can come up with 1, 2, 3, 4, and put those into the chat. And I could say just chat the host. Don't tell anybody your ideas. But in this case, we're moving quickly, so you can just post them to everybody. Do you know any of those spaces at Hunter? You can just choose one that you think you know and put it down. I bet Xiao knows those doors pretty well. Yes, very good. Anyone know what number 1 is? Oh, number 4. No, that's not it. Number 3, that is Roosevelt House. Number 2 is Hunter North. What's 1 and what's 4? 4 is the library. That's the circulation desk. I just cut off that part of the picture so you wouldn't get the clue. So very nice. And yes, the K Playhouse. Excellent. Very nice. So you can play with obviously any kind of images. Those could be images from aspects of the course that you've been teaching up to now, or it could just be places at Hunter and find out all the places people don't even know about at Hunter. There's some interesting, obviously, limitations each of us has. Some of us have been to the School of Social Work. Some of us have never even seen that building. So there's a lot of opportunities with those kind of games. Okay, with 5 and 5, I'm not sure we have time because I really want to keep this tight today. But the way this works is you go and send people to breakout room. I just make everything cutesy, so I call it 5 and 5 and 5, but you could put 5 people in a breakout room, give them 5 minutes and tell them 5 things they have to come up with that they have in common. And then when they return to the main session, they post those 5 things. You could do 4 and 4 or 3 and 3 or 6 and 6, whatever you want. It's fun when it's a little fast. You know, it's better not to give them too much time because then it makes it a little more urgent, a little more exciting. Another way to do breakout rooms is putting people in partners and having them, of course, do those partner introductions. You can just use breakout rooms of 2, and then they have to find out certain things, or it could be related to the content that you covered that week or that session, and then they come back in and share. Again, with the idea of creating social presence and social connection, you want to use a lot of small group and pairs for your icebreakers, so there's more time for people to actually voice and get to know each other. So it doesn't all have to be teacher-led, you leading the whole group, but instead you might model it, quickly set it up, and then send people to the rooms. Polling. A lot of you are very familiar with the polling features in these online platforms. One of the things you can be creative with is setting up dichotomous questions like obviously yes, no, agree, disagree, myth or fact, with maybe the content or things about people in the class that they may not even know. And it purposely trick them into thinking things are true that aren't. Those kinds of gimmicks work well. Multiple ending or multiple choice items. So you can do something like, never have I ever, and have A, B, C, D, and have people respond things they've never done. I mean, there are students who have maybe never been to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. There are things that you can put in as polls that anonymous, so you can kind of even find out more about each other. So be creative with your polls. It doesn't have to be strictly quiz-like. After you come back from a poll like that, it's good to talk about it. So maybe, that's a chance to further the conversation after you do a quick kind of a poll. Padlet. I know Xiao has done awesome workshops with Padlet. And if you have ever used Padlet, if you would give me a thumbs up, either physically or in your little icon. Okay, awesome. So you're familiar with Padlet. I was familiar with it, but I've really used it a lot more. So there are a lot of formats in Padlet. Padlet has a mapping feature. So I have students put in maybe where they were born, or it could be where their parents or grandparents were born, represent all the countries that are part of your upbringing. the one on this one, the red one, Connect and React, it could be that fact, that fun fact about you. It's just a poster board style. Student posts the fun fact about them. I collect sneakers. I'm a sneaker head, and then people have to react to at least a couple other people's posts. And it's a way to do it all simultaneously. And it's visually held well on a Padlet sheet. This one here with photos is one I've done as a first class, and Xiao, I know, has done that for us in some of the ACERT workshops or, you know, trainings we've been doing. And you leave the instructions there asynchronously. People post the image responding, and then that can be something that you might ask them to share or talk about once you're live in class. It can also happen live during a synchronous session. So I can post the Padlet link in the chat. Let's all go to the Padlet. And as an instructor, you can kind of sit back and breathe, and you can watch the Padlet populating and filling up, and you know everyone's at work without having ever to be talking to everyone or watching them. Mentimeter is another awesome tool for similar kinds of getting the whole class or small groups to interact. A lot of you have used Mentimeter before. So you can do word clouds. You can do things like these quick rating scales. So I'm going to see if we can do this. If you can go on, you can use your phone or just open another tab on your computer. You're going to go to menti.com. And you're going to enter that code 5847038. I'm going to try it too. So I enter menti.com. And I'm going to enter a code. And one of the things that's very reassuring as an instructor is I already see it moving. You know, and I see how many people have voted for it. So I can drag my, I can use a dragging type of activity. So that can be, what's your stress level right now? You know, how was last week's session? Did you feel it was too much work or not, you know, or just right? Or they're never going to say not enough work, but whatever it is that you want to do as just to get feedback, it can give you that live information, and then you can work with it and talk about it. Mentimeter is great because you can set up a lot of different styles of those questions. So when you're a little sick of the regular Zoom polls, which are quite limited, you can use these, which can be more visual, the word clouds and the rating scales. Using QR codes is really helpful because it's a quick way for students to engage on, if they're able to be on a computer and have a phone, it gets them quickly into a game. So you can set up any link in the world to be a QR code. This happens to bring you to a game site that has a lot of getting to know you activities. So you can project and do those. And there's just countless games, of course, that you can do live between Quizlets and Kahoot and all of that. The spinner is a lot of fun. So what I'm going to try to do now is I'm going to spin. I didn't get all your names because you changed them to your countries or places of birth, cities of birth, but whoever I pick is going to win something big, all right? So are you ready? Here we go. Oh, it's so exciting. Ah! Yes. What? Don't you feel like a winner? Okay, that is awesome. So your big prize is
I sort of knew it was going to be me. That was weird.
You knew it or you didn't know it?
No, I did. I had this feeling. It was very odd.
Interesting. Oh, interesting. Okay, well, let's do it one more time so that it can't happen again, right? So I can call on someone now, or I could put team names there, and that's the team that has to present or talk or share. Ah, John. Okay. So, yay. So you win, just, you're the winner of the day. And you feel so good, don't you? Oh my gosh, you won something. Okay. So these spinners are great for being able to control and randomize people that you're going to call on, because obviously it is totally random, and it can be built in with names, but it could also be built in with review topics. So you can put in the theorists that you just read about, the movements you just read about, whatever, and it can just randomly pick, and then you can say, all right, groups, this is the one we're going to work on, and then come back. It adds, again, that fun or game-like quality. So you can customize it. So this particular site I like because it's very easy to customize, and you can actually put up like hundreds of items on the spinner, so it doesn't limit you. And of course I customized it for Hunter. That was kind of exciting for me because I'm really geeky like that. Okay, so we are at time. Thank you, Julie. Nice touch. And if you have any questions at this point, we're gonna, I think, stop recording, but I'm here for the next 20 minutes. So if you want to share an idea or give a comment or have any questions about any of the tools,